I think you should. To be honest, I think that
الصبر نور ويقين لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين
الصبر نور ويقين
لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين
قدر من الله مضى فابسم إذا حل القضاء لن يضيق بك الفضاء فالله مولاك المعين
قدر من الله مضى فابسم إذا حل القضاء لن يضيق بك الفضاء فالله مولاك المعين
الصبر نور ويقين
لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين الصبر نور ويقين لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين
انظر بلاء الأنبياء يسمو بهم نحو العلا فبهم يكون الاقتداء نعم الهداة المهتدين
انظر بلاء الأنبياء يسمو بهم نحو العلا فبهم يكون الاقتداء نعم الهداة المهتدين
الصبر نور ويقين
لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين الصبر نور ويقين لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين
الله يعلم ما يكون والأمر في كاف ونون فلا تهب ريب المنون واذكر يوفى الصابرون
الله يعلم ما يكون والأمر في كاف ونون فلا تهب ريب المنون واذكر يوفى الصابرون
الصبر نور ويقين
لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين الصبر نور ويقين لله در الصابرين نعم الأخي ولا تهن أبدا وعزمك لا يلين أبدا وعزمك لا يلين أبدا وعزمك لا يلين
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to Islamic Oasis Live. Jazakallahu khairan for tuning in tonight. We have a very interesting talk planned. We are currently connecting with the brothers who are going to be broadcasting, tuning in live from Afghanistan. So alhamdulillah, this is going to be the first ever time that Islamic Oasis is going live from Afghanistan. As the title denotes, This is also just a brief introduction with some of the speakers, Jazakallahu khairan, to them in advance for making the time to basically discuss some of these topics with us and discuss some of the realities that are going on the ground. So, Bismillah. This is the first interview with Brother Rahmatullah Nowruz, the first interview with him being on the ground in his home country of Afghanistan. Some information about Brother Rahmatullah. He is the founder and CEO of Qamar Foundation, a charity which is registered in Afghanistan. That it is a Qamar Foundation is a charity foundation that is registered in Germany and Afghanistan that provides aid to the needy, to those who are basically in need. They provide humanitarian work to them. In addition, he's the founder and CEO of Qamar Institute, an Afghanistan-based charity organization dedicated to continue and reclaim the Islamic narrative by sharing a compassionate and intelligent case for Islam and giving dawah to Muslims and non-Muslims. In addition, another organization is that Brother Rahmatullah Nowruz is the founder of is You Learn a platform facilitating community of students and teachers around the world to share career-based skills and knowledge. Qamar Foundation, I would like to add, is partnered with Islamic Oasis with their humanitarian aid work in Afghanistan. Another first for the live, alhamdulillah, Brother Zafrani Osman is joining us for the first time on Islamic Oasis Live. He leads business development at Osman Foundation with key partners. He leads business development with key partners and clients, particularly in areas of third-party monitoring and stabilization. The brother has a bachelor's in international relations and is completing his master's degree in conflict, security, and development. And of course, we have Sheikh Muhammad Shirazi, who is the director of Islamic Oasis here in Chicago. Based in Chicago, Islamic Oasis is based in Chicago. He has studied with ulama across the world and has his master's degree in political science with an emphasis in disaster management. He has worked in many countries such as Bangladesh, Syria, Afghanistan, Mali, Somalia, India, and so on. He is also dedicated to helping refugees that have come to the Chicagoland area with the Islamic Oasis being located in Chicago. We help out pretty much the community that is here in Devan, a lot of the refugee community. So, Jazakallahu khairan for joining us, brothers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam. Glad to be on, and thank you very much for this.
Jazakallahu khairan. I really appreciate you guys taking out the time in the busy schedule that is there. So, just kind of an introductory question. So, this would be directed to Sheikh Shirazi, inshallah. So, Sheikh Shirazi, when you landed in Afghanistan, when did you land in Afghanistan?
First of all, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, as-salatu was-salamu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure to be here, to be with you guys, wallah, and it's a ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah Azza wa Jal allowed me to be in this land. It's really, wallahi, it's a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to come to such places where most of the world has abandoned them. So, being said, I got here, what day was it? Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday morning. I landed here early in the morning, around 8:30 in the morning. Yeah. 2 days ago, it was Friday. Not here, well, it's Saturday here, so I've been here three full days. Let's put it this way. We can't hear you.
Bismillah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All is well. Okay. So, So just following up on that, when you arrived in Afghanistan, when you arrived in the airport and you were on the streets for the first time, seeing the situation with your own two eyes, I would really, and I'm sure like a lot of people are interested, what was your first impression of being here, being in Afghanistan for the first time?
Well, as you know, there are new authorities here. Taliban have taken over here in August of 2021. And there was, I mean, to be honest, and I've been to many places. Kind of anticipated a lot of things already in my mind. But it was amazing. Well, when I landed, the first thing happened was they had people in front of the plane, where the stairs are, actually letting people know, be careful, because the ground is so slippery. People were slipping, falling. There's no, salting the streets or cleaning the streets. There's no such thing. None of that exists here. I mean, it's been snowing all day. It's going to snow all day, the rest of the day, for the next few days, it seems. And so the streets they get frozen, like layers of ice, and people fall, accidents and all kinds of stuff happen. So it was kind of interesting to see people standing there actually welcoming people, and kind of just letting people know, hey, just be careful, don't fall, because there were elderly and other people coming down the plane. And there was only 50 people on the plane. That was another interesting. There was like one woman, I think she was working for the UN, maybe. I think it was literally just one woman. And then there was the rest of the like 49, 50 guys on the plane. And I got to I think this was the fastest processing time of any airport that I've been in. They just said, you stand up and get in line. They took our passports, boom, boom, stamped them, and they just told us, okay, go home, let's go. And then we got out. Of course, security is an issue here. I mean, the first thing they told me, is somebody picking you up? I said, yeah, but they said, okay, they're not. So just hold on here until somebody actually picks you up, because it's not safe for foreigners in that way, meaning there is still kidnapping going on here. There is, security is an issue, as we'll discuss, inshallah.
All right, inshallah. And as for so is the same question I would like to ask brother Rahmatullah Nowruz.
He's not here.
Rahmatullah is not here, akhi.
He couldn't make it this morning.
He couldn't make it this morning. The streets are very, very bad. There's no way for people to travel. I mean, nothing. Things are just frozen here.
Nah.
And so please, inshallah, if he gets here, he gets here. But I don't think so. It's
Okay,
very.
inshallah.
I mean,
So khair, inshallah. So just with brother Zafrani Osman.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, brother.
Wa alaikum
Jazakallah
assalam
khairan for joining us here. So if there's anything that's you'd like to add, basically to let us know more about your background, if maybe something I've missed in the introduction.
Sure, Akhi. Barakallah feek. So my background is in international development, and I lead on mainly monitoring, evaluation, and learning of projects. So we do, for example, midterm reviews. I work on baselines. I do assessments of projects that have been, going on for a year or two, and then we assess those, see how they're going, and propose some some recommendations for such projects. Typically with UN agencies and with international NGOs such as Save the Children, Oxfam, and a number of others.
Jazakallah khairan. So both of you have arrived in Afghanistan. To be more specific, which part of the country are you guys located in currently?
Yep, so we're in Kabul, the capital city of Afghanistan. We are in Commod's offices, so we're in the city center, or the downtown, as they say in America, of Kabul. We're around 40 minutes away from the airport, and inshallah we will be going to Jalalabad today, myself and the Sheikh, to check out some of the needs in Jalalabad, one of the major cities of Afghanistan.
So, Jazakallahu khairan. So, brother, is this your first time being in Afghanistan, like in person?
Yes, sir. This is my first visit to the country. I've visited similar conflict and development scenarios across in Southeast Asia, but this is my first time to Afghanistan.
So, for brother, I guess this can also be extended to Sheikh Shirazi as well. What drew both of you guys to? What drew both of you to Afghanistan? We went through like kind of a quick bio, but if you could explain like what was it that drew both of you to Kabul, to Afghanistan, to visit here in a situation like Sheikh Shirazi was explaining that a lot of people are not. There was only 50 people on the flight here. It's kind of not really being covered. So, what was it about Afghanistan that drew both of you here?
Well, number one, of course, our deen. You know, it's we don't have a choice here. I think the situation in the country is so dire. It's dire. I mean, I don't know how to explain certain things here. It's security is an issue here. Hunger is a huge problem. All kinds of things are going on here, and then of course, complete priorities. People don't have money. Basically, accounts are in many ways they're frozen. I mean, there's a lot going on here. But as far as me being here, I mean, as Muslims, I don't think we have a choice. I mean, either we abandon the people, and then we complain later, or we do as Muslims. So I think that that's number one motive that Allah will ask us. Uh, we can sit in our comforts and do nothing, or we do what Allah asks us to do. That when you see things, as I always say, the statement from Abu Dharr radiallahu anh, as he said, they used to ask his mother what makes him cry so much. She used to say the ayah, "A'tabiru ya ulil absar." You will be accountable for what you see. I mean, all of us are seeing the conditions of Kabul and Afghanistan in general. Kabul is much better off in many ways. I mean, this is a capital city, so things are. But I'm wearing a hoodie here. It's very cold. It's very cold. I mean, we went through another cold night. There's no electricity, so the heating system is not working. I mean, it's not working. Period. They've been trying about it, but we just have one heater here. The blankets, they're joke. But we are secure. Alhamdulillah, we're secure. We're still, we do have some heat, things like that. But people are. It's snowing outside. It's -2. Was it today?
-3 today.
-3. In the next 3 days, it's supposed to be -14. I don't know. I was just thinking what we will do with some resources that we have here. I don't know what we're going to do. -14. I mean, it's freezing, guys. The water, all the kinds of stuff is going on. So I'm sure there are people who will die out of this freezing cold. I'm sure of it. There is no question about that. So as far as, I think that's my motivation, but important also. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So further to what the Sheikh has mentioned, which is of course the moral imperative to be out here. There is also, we're in the business of saving lives, Akhi. So people are, there's an estimate of around 15,000 people attempting to leave Afghanistan every day. Yeah, and they are, okay? The government has the system has completely collapsed. So when you see everything that in America, traffic wardens, the streets are chaos, Akhi. The streets are chaos. It's absolutely lawless. Systems don't work. So, for example, if a crime were to happen, there is no one to call. There is nobody to call. You can't withdraw cash from the bank. You've no money for that day. if you've got assets, they are depreciating by the minute, and you can do very little, because you're only able to withdraw $200 worth a day. No matter how much you have in your account, you can't withdraw more than $200. So we're in the business of saving lives, and of course, when the government takeover happened, a lot of people left,
Almost
including
300,000 in just Kabul. No?
yeah, including humanitarian NGOs. So there is a massive gap here, akhi. There is a very, very big gap because of the security concern. People just up and left within hours. They were given hours notice and left. So the country is absolutely on its knees, and everything that you can imagine just doesn't function here. So there has to be an alternative, and that's where humanitarian workers can come in and pick up the work, as well as good people like yourselves in America, in Britain, in other places that can help with this effort. There is a way that they can help. The country is predicted to be in an emergency situation for the foreseeable future, possibly 6 years, where people do not have the basics for survival, such as shelter, food security, protection. There are children by the day. The roads are seeing more children by the day, begging, abusing substances to just block out the cold and the hunger and the misery of this situation. So there's a lot to be done. And thank you very much, Sheikh Shirazi, for coming all the way from America
You're coming from Britain, bro.
to play our part.
No, this is important, brothers, and there's no question about this. This is important. I actually encourage brothers to do what they can to come here. I mean, it's actually a very easy process. I think just because Afghanistan is on the news, I mean, the way it's shown, I mean, look, there is security issues here. There's no question about it. There's kidnapping is common here. Every one of us have guards here. I mean, in a sense that nobody just walks around without protection. So people have to have protection because there's no other protection. There's no police you can call up and say, hey, I'm getting robbed or anything like that. And on the top of that, you have these huge mountains and things like that. Allahu Alam, what happens in those areas? No one knows. I mean, no one is is reporting anything. So those things are there, yes. But I think people who are used to working in this type of climates, environments, they know that what they're getting into. But as far as I mean, there is stable, and there is some authority. There is some type of meaning. What I'm trying to say is that you can come here. There are ways. Obviously, you can come here. I came from the United States. Obviously, right? You can get visas to come here. Professionals are needed here. Doctors, engineers, teachers, and who know what they're doing, who can actually help us build the infrastructure here. They are needed because a lot was also destroyed because of the war and things like this. So I'm encouraging people, really, people of knowledge, people of skills, people who have who are well educated. They need to be here. They need to come and they need to help, and we can facilitate whatever way, inshallah. For those people, if anyone that wants to and help. I mean, and the government is very open about it. Look, they're asking people to come because they know they need help. They know they need help. There's no question about that.
Jazakallahu khairan, brothers. So, this question for Sheikh Shirazi, right? In comparison to the other areas that have been visited, and Brother Al-Zafarani, if you have had work in other nations as well, how does the situation in Afghanistan compare to some of the other situations that we're seeing across the Muslim world? For example, I mean, the most, I'd say, like, the thing that most people are aware of in Afghanistan is that a lot of their assets are frozen. And because of this, there is a lot of, what's it called? Inability to, like, there's not access to even food and water. This is, I guess, like, it's compared to other areas that are facing a lot of crises. How is Afghanistan? What is the situation in Afghanistan compared to these other places? For example, Somalia or Syria or Mali.
Well, as far as my understanding of, I've been to Syria, I've been to Somalia, I've been to, these areas of war, conflict. So Afghanistan has at least some type of authority, and the whole country is run under the Taliban. So Taliban have taken over. I mean, there's no question about that, and so they have authority here. I mean, but when it comes to Syria, when it comes to Somalia, Somalia is fighting a civil war for the last 20 years. You just, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there's actually active groups with all kinds of weaponry who are, they're fighting each other, north and south, for instance, in Somalia and things like this. And then in Syria, obviously, there's a whole revolution is taking place. You have completely, being bombed, destroyed, all kinds of stuff going on. There's airstrikes going on. So this was happening here in the, let's say, last 6 months ago. 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Obviously, there civil war in the sense that the Taliban were trying to remove the prior regime, previous regime, and now they're not dealing with airstrikes here. They're not dealing with. I mean, bombs are not blasting the way they were blasting before. I mean, even yesterday I did see that the masajid, for instance, for Salatul Jummah, there is a security issue, meaning that there are groups who are trying to, because there have been a lot of bombings in the masajid during Salatul Jummah. So you do see that kind of, especially in major masajid, armed guards, Taliban have provided that type of security for the masajid. The people are, you can see that. But here now, the issue is stabilizing the country, right? Like the brother Zafran was saying, it's completely, it's, the system, right? There is no system right now. There is no system. There is an authority, yes, and all they're trying to do, maintain some type of what do we call this? Some type of stability of some kind of thing.
Normality.
Normality. They are trying to. We can see that. I mean, in Kabul, we're seeing it. So I think the people that probably felt most of the difference is probably the people of Kabul, more than any other place.
No, the whole country, to be honest, Sheikh.
Uh-huh.
The whole country, because you've got, of course, different groups, okay? You've got your professional class. They have felt the impact pretty strongly because they've lost their jobs overnight. They've had to flee the country overnight. And
there is no more professional class here, is there?
No, of course there is. There is, but these are the ones who weren't able to get out, or they have a lot to protect here and to oversee and manage before possibly leaving. But everybody you speak to categorically of leaving the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a system, but it's not functioning the way it should. So the new government, as they like to be called, the Emirate, they have kept everything in place, so nothing has changed. It's business as usual. They are working with the former government employees to stay in their positions, and there is a sense of patriotism. There is a sense of we need to do this for the country, and they are facilitating as much as they can, the new government. However, they do lack the capacity, they do lack the experience, they do lack the training, they lack the vision, as far as I can see. But they are trying to do their best with. Okay, so this is the situation.
And
Having said all of that, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Having said all of that, it's not good enough.
compared to, I mean, if you're asking, the question is in comparison to other countries. I mean, of course, as I said, there is some type of authority here. I mean, there is no, people are not running around. Well, I mean, yeah, people are not running around with, you don't have like,
it's not really like an active war zone
anymore, right?
yeah
Yeah, it's not a war zone anymore in that sense. But people do have the weapons. Everybody carries a weapon because that's the only way to protect themselves. I mean, we have 2 armed guards everything with us who is armed. I mean, we just have to do that. That's part of security because aid workers are getting kidnapped. You have, I think a doctor was kidnapped 2 days ago. You have, I mean, humanitarian workers, because they think for some reason we have money or something, and then they'll take you in. So, and then there's no way of figuring out how to get out of that situation if you get kidnapped. I mean, as I said, if you just see these mountains here and somebody takes you in there, there is no way of anything. I mean,
it's a major,
it's
like,
not possible.
Major issue with security. So brothers, like, in terms of like you mentioned you guys
Look,
mentioned
I'll
the
give you
kidnapping previously.
here's one more thing.
Yeah.
For example, I was talking to one of the engineers here. He graduated from India, from IIT India, and he was here 20, he got here 2021, something like that. And he was saying, I don't want my degree to come through this government because he doesn't want a stamp of the Taliban or the Islamic Emirate on his diploma. Because, I mean, I want you guys to understand this, because for a lot of people, they're worried what's going to happen. Will they be able to travel? Will they be, there's no passports right now, right? Whatever passports they have is still the old passports. Things like when I went to go get a visa, when I went to go get Dubai to get here. Oh, by the way, Sheikh Rahmatullah is here also. What happened was, I mean, the old regime pictures are still there. Abdul Ghani's whole portrait is still there. The old flag is still there. In foreign embassies, that's how they're running it. But when you get here, obviously you see a whole different situation. So people, the class, they're worried what will happen. I mean, because there's no recognition yet either of the government from the international, international law perspective. There's no, so people are worried what will happen. I mean, if they have this passport, what country can they really travel? Can they travel to the United States? Can they travel to Europe? Can they travel to Asia? Can they travel anywhere? Can they even travel to Saudi Arabia if they need to go to Hajj or Umrah? No one knows. Everything is kind of still up in the air. So that kind of insecurity is creating anxiety and havoc amongst the masses, especially those who did have something to lose in this country here. By the way, we are joined by Sheikh Rahmatullah here, so I think he can add a lot more to what we are discussing as far as the situation here.
Assalamu alaikum.
It's okay. No, this is a good time.
First of all, Jazakallah khairan from Sheikh Shirazi for coming to Afghanistan and visiting our Ummah in Afghanistan. What he said is truly right. MashaAllah is a recent observation in the past few days here in Afghanistan. The biggest challenge that I feel is for people is losing hope. And when you lose hope, you face all sorts of problems. There's a mistrust. You intend not to, start a business or idea or spend your money, buy land. And because of that, things have come down actually. For example, we can see in terms of the currency has become double against the dollar. A dollar used to be $1.47 Afghani, but today is 105. So this is impacting the goods that you're importing. Afghanistan is producing nothing. We import almost everything. So if the dollar become against the Afghani, so you have to import things and then buy things double price. I give you the example of sugar, oil, gas, and everything. It is almost double, and people's salary have not doubled. In fact, they have lost their salaries. So these are difficult things, and I believe we are still in an emergency situation. But yet, we need to work on creating jobs, especially for people who had jobs and they have lost them. A few days ago, we were speaking to some of the UN bodies like Save the Children, and they told us that about 7.9 children who need immediate help to acquire education, or they need humanitarian assistance. The Taliban government, they only have about 20% of that funds, to support them. There are problems, and I'm sure with that, but I have to say this, that media is being controlled. The actual stories people are not hearing.
No one can. I think even these interviews that we are having is actually rare.
So, yes.
To tell you the truth, I think we are. I mean, we're still on, but I don't know. I think as far as the discussion, of actually what's happening here, we're probably the very, very few eyes and on the ground.
There aren't many people here, sir.
There are not many people here, and there are not that many people who can speak English here. Meaning,
there aren't many Western visitors,
and there are not that many.
So if you can calculate how many organizations right now are in Afghanistan who are actually working for the Muslim community, I would say not more than even 4, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Islamic faith based.
Yes,
there isn't many of them.
Yeah.
So we spoke with the Ministry of Economy to understand exactly what the NGO scenario is in this country, and they said there is only 147 NGOs. That's not a lot at all.
But then they're not coming.
Compared across all sectors, compared to 40, the population is 40 million.
Yeah.
And we only have
a drop in the ocean.
147 NGOs trying their best in an emergency. So it's not long-term development, where they can come up with sustainable ideas and such.
Yeah.
Emergency. People need to eat.
I mean, even this is the thing. Just to brother Zain here, yesterday, me and brother Rahmatullah always get in a conflict, because I'm an impatient person. It's something I have to learn here, and I think I don't know. I should have by now, but the thing is, I'm coming in from outside, right? So we have this understanding, or I'm thinking, okay, we need to get things done. We need to kind of do this and do that. The thing is that the brothers who are living here, or they have been here, weeks, 2 weeks, 3 months, a month, 2 months before me, they have already, like previous information type of thing, where they know what it means to be on the streets. They know what it takes to get things done. The delays that are happening, the emergency situation itself. It's so when I came and I was like, okay, we need to move, we need to do this, we need to do that. I mean, if you look outside the street, outside right now, it's snowing, and there's nobody cleaning the streets.
No.
And we're planning to go to Jalalabad today. So I was thinking right away in my head, I was like, I don't know how these guys will do it, but they, you have to. There's so much, there are infrastructure issues here. There is, it's chaos.
Subhanallah.
So, 40, and there's 40 million people. I mean, what, Kabul is 10 million?
Kabul is 5 million people actually, officially, but I think there are more than 5 million people.
Let's say, 6-7 million people just in Kabul who are, I mean, it's the lights weren't working yesterday. I don't know if they're working.
No. Lights are not working regularly. You have rarely lights.
I mean, right now we don't have electricity.
Yeah, subhanallah. I remember beforehand.
Right now.
Beforehand, when I believe we were trying to test the call, it was like the power went out before this live even began. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
let's get on the phone.
That's the proof right there. So brothers, I would like to ask first of all, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, brother Rahmatullah. Jazakallahu khairan for making it into the live session. So you were talking before about the most dangerous thing, or the most pressing worry for you was that people were losing hope. People that would be the most dangerous thing for the people that are there right now. So just to kind of I don't think we touched on this, is how is the general public receiving, I know there is a lot of this is a major crisis that is going on in Afghanistan right now. What is the sentiment among the people? Are you concerned that they are losing some of the hope, or has things kind of has the mentality kind of where is it at right now after coming out of years of pretty much war for the first time? Afghanistan is not plagued with these types of realities. So brother Rahmatullah, just to reiterate the question, I apologize, what is the sentiment among the public people, with the public?
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The same among public is that they have a new regime, especially I'm talking about the urban areas, that they have never met. They always saw them on TV as dangerous people. However, there's a saying that we have a child doesn't sleep, there's a ghost coming or monster is coming. So they, like, if you don't sleep, Taliban's are coming, sleep, go to sleep. So they had that kind of view of Taliban, and today they are in power and they are the one controlling everything. So of course, and in that scenario, you lose hope. And secondly, there've been huge propaganda as well against the whole Islamic scholarships and anybody who is actually, educated in Islam. And that propaganda is that they cannot do anything except knowing the Deen, and that's really not true in some cases. Of course, you could be Islamic and you could be a physician or doctor or politician, and we have those cases of Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, we have Ibn Sina, we have a lot of people. I mean, we got hundreds. So, but the youth, that's second case. The third case is, a regime change from 0 to 100% is not something. Usually, the government change when the president change or the prime minister or the party change.
Just the faces change.
Yes, just the faces change, but the system is the same. But here in Afghanistan, not only the system, but the faces and the people. In fact, even your next door traffic guy, he also changed. So these are the huge changes people experiencing. So in this scenario, of course, then the government is now recognized by international community. They can't issue a passport. They can't, if you're in trouble in next country like Iran, they cannot do anything about it because they have no diplomatic relationship. So if your export that's stuck in Pakistan, they can't do anything about it. And until now, many countries do not even issue Afghanistan visa, right from the American Afghan embassy in America and Canada. Only I believe two countries right now, one embassy in Pakistan, second embassy in UAE. These are two countries that are issuing Afghan visa. No other countries right now issuing Afghan visa, and many embassies are not in contact with the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So knowing all these information, knowing that there are crises in the banking system, you have money in your account, but you cannot withdraw it. You can only withdraw 5% of that cash. The business are collapsing because they cannot withdraw more cash to support their businesses, so they have collapsed. In knowing all these things, of course, you lose hope and you tend to either run away, be in depression, or do nothing. So these are three situations that you will get.
Yeah, I mean, I think also there's a lot going on, with college students.
Yeah.
They are worried, what will happen under in the case as far as you, what will be on their diploma type of thing, whose stamp will be there, which government, where can they go to work with this. Some people have just dropped out of school. I think,
Yes.
there's a lot that they just dropped out of school. They don't know what will happen. They don't want, and a lot of people don't actually want Taliban stamps or the Emirat stamps on any legal papers. They don't want it because they're so scared that they'll get stuck here or they won't be able to do anything. So there's a lot of anxiety. All right, I mean, there's a lot of anxiety. No one knows what the future holds. But there are people who are working here? Yes, they are. Are the people who are trying to build hope? Yes, they are. Are there people who are trying to do whatever is in their hands? And this is where the brothers and sisters who are watching, especially those who are in professions, they are professional people, teachers, people who can design things, people who are in the IT sector, people who are in, I mean, right now, every single sector is suffering. Every single sector, from the guy who cleans the bathrooms to everything is a mess. There is no, infrastructure in that sense. So, probably Brother Zafran here, Zafrani, if you can, you have in this type of, build up situation. What have you sensed so far? Also, if you can go ahead.
Yeah, so we in this scenario, it's people try to save what they have. They try to find the best option for their family, and you cannot blame them. So all the professional people that you've spoken with, you've spoken to in this country, the country needs them, but they are not obliged. It's their free will, right? So they have to do what's best for them. Of course, we would encourage them to, you know, stay and pick up the work that's needed. But you can't force them. You can't oblige them. So it is quite depressing. It is quite the need in this country. And like I mentioned, like we discussed yesterday evening, we need to do emergency related projects to stabilize the situation. It's like you've had a car accident, God forbid, and you just need to stabilize. You need to stop the wounding, the bleeding, and rush them to hospital where they can get proper treatment. So this is what we need to do, Akhi. The winter is severe. I said, we're in we're in a warm office in the center of town, and we are freezing. Okay, God knows what the people on the streets are going through. So winterization. We need to get people clothes. We need to get people, you know, something warm and, you know, to wear and to, you know, get them shelter. We need to do emergency food distributions. We need to secure families, because number one, the funds that they have is probably not going to get them what it used to get, and they're probably worried about the future. If God forbid a medical emergency is needed, so a food parcel that can last a family a month, that's one section.
That's security in some way.
That's security that they don't have to worry about. They don't have to spend in that side on that. Okay, and the other thing, actually, shelter. Inshallah, we're on today, and you will see the shelter in this country.
It has seen some yesterday.
Yesterday we were in. Oh man! I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video. We put the water pumps. You know, that's about 1,200 families living in that kind of environment. Outside, you know, we're building a few water pumps over there, and you have. I mean, I know Brother Rahmatullah, he twisted his ankle yesterday, and I fell. I actually fell in the morning, and I know Brother Zafarani, he was laughing, but when I turned around, I saw him. He changed his face quickly. But so you know, I slipped and fell. But the infrastructure, you know, in these, when you get to these camps, you can barely walk.
They're not.
And then, I mean, there's no roads in these places, right? You can't really, it's all mud, and it's just, and then on the top of that, snow. So you can imagine, especially I'm worried about the injured and the elderly, and it's a disaster in every way. It's just something else.
Yeah, it's so really like Jazakallahu khairan for you, Sheikh Shirazi, Rahmatullah, brother Rahmatullah, brother Zafrani Osman, for taking out your time and basically putting in the work that is much needed to help to help the people out. You know, like I think somebody was making a comment earlier, like somebody sent in a comment that it's like, subhanallah, the thing that really unites all of the people that are there in the Qamar Foundation office is their deen, is that they know that they're going to be held accountable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Brother Rahmatullah, obviously you are Afghan yourself, but the other two brothers are not. The thing that basically brought them there, like we were saying in the beginning, like the brothers were saying in the beginning, it was their deen, they knew that they're going to be held accountable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Jazakallah khairan for the discussion.
You know, yes, even Brother Rahmatullah, he doesn't live here. I mean, he didn't have to be here. Meaning he's in Germany, right? I mean, he left Afghanistan when he was 16 years old. Yes. So he's no longer like from here, but this is the amazing thing about his deen, and this is the amazing thing about when people figure out their objective in life, right? When you figure that out, when you fear Allah Azza wa Jal, when you know that you're accountable, your perspective in life, your vision in life, your objective completely changes, right? Everything that you do, you say, I have to serve this deen, I have to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will be accountable. So he came back. I mean, look, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Afghans are leaving to the West. They're trying to find every single whatever we can. I mean, we said earlier, 15,000 people are leaving on a daily basis. So I don't know what, you know, I've seen Halab, for instance. Aleppo was completely emptied out, and that was because of bombings. I mean, so bad. At one point, you just see some animals running around in Halab. That's how it was. So it doesn't get like that here, where just towns after towns just emptied out, left. I mean, have you observed that already? I mean, you
observe it.
I mean, you're in Kabul. Kabul was a huge
Kabul
metropolitan.
Kabul wasn't like this.
Yeah.
You couldn't get to the one part or second part of the city without being for a few hours.
Oof.
But those things are gone. You go to the restaurant, they're empty. You go to universities. If possible, we'll go to some of the universities and you see, you know, the Riyaz lecturer, he said, I'm teaching to dead people. They're like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So and we will see that.
Oh, by the way, the other professor, he's not here. We were trying to get him on too, but he's a professor and he's teaching students are girls at the university. We were trying to see if I could get there, but they said, you know, it's all girls school. So just that, I just want to put that in where girls are being educated. These are college, college. These are college students are going to schools, and there's a male teaching them, who's an expert who studied in England for over 7 years. He has a master's in business analysis, things like that. So, and he's teaching there. The good people have not left. Let me put it this way: those people who fear Allah Azza wa Jal. I know one of the engineer brothers I was talking to last night. He worked. I mean, think about it. He has an IIT degree from India, and this is a prestigious university. And he's here. His father is a doctor. His dad left for 30 days and he came back because he said, I have to serve my people. So I think those who feel accountable for what's happening here, those who know that we have something to offer, there's also that positivity. I think there's a lot of negative things going on, but I think there's also a lot of people who have who fear Allah, and they're staying here and they're doing what they can.
Alhamdulillah. Really, like those people, like I'm sure it must be like a real blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the people that are still there. So Jazakallah khairan, brothers. I think we have a lot of questions coming in, so inshallah I'm just kind of going to get them off really quickly. I think the first one is coming up right now. This is from brother Mutasim Ibrahim. I've heard a lot of the NGOs have left. How are people surviving the food shortage, and on top of that, the cold? How can we help, and what are the needs of the people?
Even I wanted to point this out too, that and I think even the brothers can probably expand on more on that. Almost even with UN, for instance, it's the largest, obviously, non-governmental organization. I mean, these guys are taking, think about it, 6% of whatever comes in goes into their expenses. It's going in their pockets. So the good people out there that are giving money to agencies, keep that in mind. 60% of what you give to these agencies goes into their pockets. 60%, that's a huge amount of number. I mean, I know you're discussing this issue with even the authorities here that do something about that, because I mean, 60% people are giving it to serve there's 40 million people here. If you're taking out 60% of the budget, what's left?
Nothing, actually. So basically, there were organizations, foreign companies, even accountant firms, things like that. They all left. Even DHL, they left.
Yeah, so there's no way to mail.
That's the thing. So they brought the people, 40 families who were working even as delivery guys. They even brought them and their families to Germany. I said what threat they could be facing because of their delivery business, doing delivery work, and they just brought them and the entire families. 40 people. I'm talking about only DHL. So that's one thing. Second thing is, I would tell the viewers, if they want to support humanitarian sector, then make sure that you support an organization that is on the ground or have access. Wallahi, I see a lot of organizations raising funds for Afghanistan, but I contact them. Who is your local partner? They don't have one.
Oh wow! I mean, that's a point to be noted there. Meaning, look, I think that's one of the reasons why we are doing this live, to let the people know that we are here. There are organizations here that are working around the good points. We've actually contacted these people. Yes. And asking them, who's your partner, and they don't have it.
They don't have one. They are planning, in the next few years, they will take the fund, keep them in bank accounts, and later on, whatever they are, I feel good, they will, there are a lot of organizations, I don't want to mention name, they have raised funds for Afghanistan, and 500, 600,000, and when I contacted them, because they contact us and they said, okay, we're going to do food distribution, and the contract was $30,000. I said, I took the 500 you raised on the platform, the public platform, say, you know what, we will do it, and later on, we don't have plan yet, we will make things. So make sure that you donate to organization that you trust, and you can also, check up on them, call them, and tell them how you're spending this amount. Show a partner who is there on the ground. I think these are necessary questions they should ask the organization.
Yeah, Jazakallahu khairan. Because it's very like
Sheikh,
for the person who
taking to add.
basically they really
Hold on
want
one
to.
second.
Well, I think you've covered it well. Like mentioned, it's the major organizations like the WFP, the World Food Programme, part of the UN, that is picking up a lot of the food distribution as possible. But like you mentioned, there is a lot of need, and there is a gap that smaller NGOs can fill in. I think the WFP is mainly focusing on, or the large organizations are mainly focusing on the cities, because that's where a lot of need is and a lot of people are congregating on. But there are other parts of the country
That's what I wanted to get
which organizations can't reach, either because the roads and the weather conditions. The weather here can block roads for months.
Yes.
There's no access, and you will see what the scenario is like. So it's organizations that are on the ground
that can actually get to these places, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, things are hours away. I mean, Jalalabad, we're going to, how far is this place?
Yes. It's by the way, the road is blocked to Jalalabad.
Yeah, that's another thing that we're facing, right? The road is blocked because of, I think there was a truck stuck.
Yeah, no, because the snow, the truck, and then the mountain fell down.
Yeah.
So until they clean it, we have to check the news.
Yeah, I was watching this last night. So I mean, but imagine you know what it's taking organizations to actually get to these places where the real and where it's needed. I mean, you were talking about a sister yesterday, and the bread story. I need to hear that. Where sister was covering her whatever she got because she thought somebody might take away, and this is in Kandahar. Kandahar is 14 hours away driving. Right, and this is a major city. So, what happened?
I can't read the story again.
I know every time he was mentioning the story, I mean, you see tears in his eyes. But I mean, the issue of the bread for the. I mean, what did you yesterday?
Yeah, we're in Kandahar. We were driving around, and as we're slowing down in traffic, we were thinking of the situation of the people, and we thought just to stop and ask. So we found a young chap selling balloons by the roadside, and we stopped. Assalamu alaikum, how you doing? Alhamdulillah. The guy was looking miserable. You could see all the anxiety, all the stress, all the emotions in his face, and he was looking really down. Even his body language he was just sat on the pavement holding his balloons. His shoulders were caved in, and he was just feeling all the misery of the world. So we stopped the car and asked him, what can we do to make you happy? And he was like, Sheikh, I haven't sold any balloons today, and that means I have no bread for today. If you can get me 2 loaves of bread, that would be me happy. Can you imagine? So he hasn't sold enough, not to, to go out on the weekend, for the kids and whatnot and shopping and all of that. He hasn't sold enough to secure bread. We're not talking about other foods, a varied diet, bread for that day. That's
I think 1 or 2 pieces of bread, I think it's very interesting here. I mean, like for instance, even when they serve, I think one family probably eats maybe no more than 2-3 loaves of bread. And maybe tea, the green tea, if that's available, and then that's it. I think that's it. That's it.
Yes, that's it.
Green tea and 1 or 2 loaves of bread.
I mean,
that is real. That is real, brothers.
And in Kandahar, we were giving some, fresh meats to people. I used to give it to one selling things outside the road. So I give him. I said, okay, you know what? Take this meat, go for your family. And say, Wallahi, since 1 month, my father, old man, is asking me for meat, but I can't afford it.
1 month.
1 month.
1 month, yeah. And you're giving him what, kilo?
I'm giving, yes, of course, not that big chunk. There are people that for 6-8 months, 1 year, they never had touched meat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we will visit more beneficiaries, and you will see how the ordinary people are suffering, and those stories are unfortunately not media, so people know, the world knows. We only see figures: 6 million people are hungry, 22 million people, which is, but what about the individual stories? We don't get to see that.
Brothers, I'm sorry to cut the conversation short, but there are like a few more questions, and I think some of them might be open ended. So the next following question would be from Zoaib Mirza. What activities are planned during your stay?
What activities are planned? Brother Rahmatullah will be the best one to answer that. There's a lot that we have planned. But you know, one thing I would like to say again is you do have to kind of work with the people here, because, you know, I mean, like, for instance, we said we're going to go to Jalalabad today, and now you have a road block, mountain fell. I mean, what do? Rocks all over the place. It's dangerous. It's snowing. It's cold. I think there's a truck stuck over there also. So now we had a plan to go there. And we may have to change that plan. So there is a lot planned in the next 10 days, but inshallah, go ahead.
First of all, we will inshallah visit the projects that have been done by Islamic Oasis. So the brothers knows that it's not his first time working in Afghanistan. He's been working here for years. That's his first time coming to Afghanistan. So there's a big difference. That's one. And number two, we would like to show him different areas. Inshallah, potentially we will end up deciding on hospital, clinics, sponsoring orphans, and also building orphan village. So, you know, they have the education, they have the living place, and at the end we might even give them a gift of a house. Okay, now start your own life. So we are exploring different areas: medical sector, food security, emergency, and in terms of wash. Yesterday we visit compounds of people who lost their houses from Kandahar, Helmand, and they moved to Kabul. The living standards were there, I mean, unbearable and unexplainable to the living standards that we have. Mashallah, the Sheikh right away, promised him and decided, okay, let's record a video. And mashallah, you brothers and sisters, you sponsor those water wells. So we will building water wells for them. We will building other things that we need. We might even buy them some.
You have what, 90-year-olds carrying water? Allah knows where, and the water pumps that they have were not working.
They were not working because, you know why? I will tell you how these water wells are built. These water wells are built by USAID, by UN. They have gone to a third party, and they will dig it for 30 meters, and the moment they get water, it's done. So what we do, we dig it 30 meters more down when the water is there. So for 30 years, they don't lose water. What another story, they have bought trucks, water tanks, and they fill them in the well, and then they put the pump and they hit them. Okay, the water is dirty because it's new. Wait for 2-3 days, and then the trucks will be gone for 2 days. And then the water, and they have their pictures, upload it, share it with the media, given to the UN, and done.
Wow. Yeah.
So unfortunately, because of lack of quality control, lack of fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, lack of sense of responsibility as a human being, we have those stories. They've been built, but they're dry.
Yeah, this was very surprising. The thing looked new. I mean, it was the whole, as far as the metal part, all that was there, and there's no water, and I was kind of like, what? And when we tried it, it was dry. So that's another thing, brothers and sisters, I know, like, sometimes we have delays when we do the water, but look, the teams that are here are doing, they're doing proper assessments. They're doing surveys, they're digging, they're making sure, because of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we do what we say we're doing, it's actually happening. So that's another thing. There's going to be a lot of cheating that's going to happen. I think this is going to become, for the next few years, there's a lot of that's going to happen as far as the impact on just corruption by foreign agencies who are receiving millions and
brothers. There's another question. Sorry to cut the conversation short. Again, there are
you're very passionate about the topic.
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, it's there are a lot of questions. A lot of people are curious about the situation there. So inshallah, the next question is coming up right now. It's from Brother Mutassim again. How can we as Muslims enable the people of Afghanistan to provide for themselves? What business opportunities are there for Muslims to invest in?
It's a good question. I think number one, if you can employ them remotely, that's something immediately you can do. You can employ people, and there are like website like jobs.akbar.org. You can announce those your jobs and get up with people, interview them, and get the talent from Afghanistan. I think that's something immediately you can do as an entrepreneur or businessman. The second thing is, I think the best would be for you to actually look into which area are you targeting, and then you're going to come to Afghanistan. Khamar Foundation can arrange your visa and things like that, and explore those opportunities that you think that they will be beneficial for the people. And I believe it's a, in terms of entrepreneurship in business, it's a good opportunity because you don't have any competition. If you can export something, produce something, I'm sure you will get both the profit, the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for supporting the country and the community.
I mean, there's a lot of creativity that is needed here, and I'm sure Brother Zafarani, I mean, hopefully he put something from his business background. You know, like we were talking about, you know, all this snow. I mean, I didn't think about the way you were. You said when we were doing water wells, you said, what about all this snow from the mountains? So to build, what were you thinking?
So this is it's called water harvesting. So in countries, for example, like Bangladesh, countries like Sudan, Bangladesh obviously it rains, you know, for 6 months in the monsoons. So instead of digging new water wells and, you know, tapping into the water table, we can capture that rainfall and clean it, you know, through filtration and such. And that's a renewable source of water. In countries like Sudan, where it rains heavily and you get the flash floods, we can do water harvesting of a different kind. You know, there are dams and pools where they fill up, and then they can be used for agricultural usages. Right? So we can do the same in Afghanistan. You know, there is a lot of mountains, so there's clearly a lot of water filtering down. We can capture the snowfall, the water that's coming, and then channel it to people's orchards, people's gardens, people's farms. That's a renewable and sustainable way of harvesting water and using water, right? Instead of digging water wells, which is not bad, but
I mean, for emergency,
but
people don't have.
it's not just emergency. That's a long-term development project. Actually, it's going to be emergent. It's, you know, you can do it now because it's built, right? And then it's going to being used for the next 10 years or more. Okay, water pumps are good, but it comes at the cost of the environment. You know, if the water table dries, because this is also a dry country because of the lack of infrastructure, it's very wet during the winter season, but very dry during the summer season. So that's another predicament. So when the water table is low, again, you're going to be hit with the same problem. So if we can start thinking ahead, we're not doing major, you know, construction work. We're just doing sustainable projects in the communities that they can use year on year.
Look,
in a very sustainable way.
That's the thing here, is that the creative people are needed. People who can think about, you know, I know some of the brothers are still in cities. What I would do, especially those who are doing their masters or PhDs, and those who are thinking to do maybe some type of work in sustainable kind of environment, you know, how to sustain businesses or build this type of sustainable project. Think Afghanistan, really think Afghanistan, what you would do, study Afghanistan, look at the maps. And inshallah, when I come back, I have a lot, you know, be in touch with Brother Rahmatullah and Brother, you know, Brother Zafarani and stuff like this. Or calling him, this is,
okay.
You know, I think people already, but there is also, for instance, because I know there's a lot of youth watching, we were talking about solar projects.
Yes.
We were talking about the what was that? I think the land
Project, you know, and also livelihood, like buying chickens and.
That's another thing, right? Buying chicken, buying cows, maybe building you know, dairy, industry. Maybe there is a lot to do. You just have to really be creative and be patient to deal with things here, of course. But the environment is there. People with vision, people who, and at the same time, you're building the Muslim world. Keep that in mind. You are building the Muslim world. To all those entrepreneurs out there, businessmen out there who are just thinking, okay, let me, you know, even zakah, let's say, I mean,
All right.
obviously, zakat has its conditions, how it needs to be
Yeah,
spent.
Jazakallah,
But sadaqah,
Jazakallah
for instance.
khairan. Yeah, sorry, again, there are a lot of questions. And mashallah, there's a lot of great ideas being bounced around. So the next question, inshallah, will be, is from Teach As You Learn. Question, brother, what all the negative, so the question is, brother, all the negative things and the situation you are talking about, does that mean they are better off under American colonization?
Okay, so first, you look here. Here's the thing: we're talking about infrastructure and things like that, right? I mean, Americans were here 20 years, almost 18 to 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and here we're suffering, trying to figure out how to get water. So what do they do? I mean, they created this suffering, right?
Exactly.
They came. Like you were talking to some of the brothers here. They were testing. This was a research lab. For huge companies. They came in, they tested their top bombs, they tested their weaponry, they tested the strategies, they were trying to figure out what to do with China, they were trying to figure out what to do with the Iran, they were use this as in testing, and the Muslims of Afghanistan became testing, experimental situation.
Norway tested their jets. Everybody was producing a new material.
I mean, keep something in mind. The largest of so-called mother of all bombs was dropped here, right? It was called mother of all bombs. It was dropped here. It was just not nuclear. That's all. And so, literally, they came here to test their technology, what they could, their medicine. They tested on the people, and when they thought it's time to go, they left.
So, just like a situation like when you're in a narcissistic, toxic relationship, and then you want to leave, and so that particular person who was abusing, you as a human being, will tell you, how can you leave? You are better off with me. So no, we are, no matter how difficult it is, but yet we are happy that we are Americans are gone and free. Even if we die out of starvation, that would be, I think, a more honorable death than dying with, having food in your stomach, but no values and no freedom, and knowing your country, you say, like a testing ground. I mean, you ask the Americans, why did they drop the mother of all bombs? For what reason? It was all test. Norway, these are all in the reports. UK, they were testing their medicine. Trust me, the corona would be tested here if they were still active. They were literally testing all sorts of medicine through a lot of agencies. It's all over the news. People were actually, shooting the Afghans and taking their fingers and hands as a toys. Australians, they did it, and put it in their museums and their museums. So, yes, situation is emergency. It's because of them. Look at Malaysia. There was no American. They didn't, invaded them. Mashallah, they're doing very well. Look at other countries. But if they would have not invaded, Afghanistan, we would have done better. But where the $2 trillion? If you $1 from the airplane all over Afghanistan, you will find no place to put your feet on except on dollars. But we don't have road, we don't have infrastructure.
And what did they build? This is what I'm asking. Look, this is what I want to know. When we are on the street, a country, a superpower, was here 20 years, and then before that, there was another superpower. Russia was here for another 20 years, and everybody came, exploited the country. They did what they could. They were trying to figure out how they could use it. But see, the thing, what we have to do, though, we really have to give it up to the Muslims of Afghanistan. No matter what they are going through, I have never seen. I mean, and I still need to meet. Inshallah, there's a lot to come. But people tell you here, you won't find more simple than the Afghani here. Yani they're happy with the 2 loaves of bread and a cup of tea, and that's their whole day. That's what the whole day. That's it. That's what they live on. And it's not like they're asking. It wasn't. You didn't have to give too much to please them, but they kept them in constant war, emergency. The only thing they did was they built a few buildings here and there so they can be safe. They can have their heaters. That's all they did, and that's exactly what colonization is.
Sheikh, they brought containers.
And they took them.
And they took them back. They built houses using actually woods. When they left, they burned them down. They burned all the cars. When they were leaving, they destroyed the house. They destroyed
the house too?
Yeah, they did. Whatever was built by them in that compound.
Even the plane, whatever they saw that. By the way, when I was landing, You can see that when
Yeah.
you're landing in the airport.
Yes, yes.
You know, you see the whole the
Helicopters,
destroyed
yeah.
helicopters. You see the destroyed planes. You see the destroyed. Even something else is out there. I didn't know what I could take pictures as far as on the airport. I didn't do it, but you can see it all. It's all there. So, you know, slavery of any kind is not good, man. They believe me. So yes, there are difficulties. These are good difficulties. Look, these are growing pains. We're gonna have to look at the situation. Is it tough? It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough as hell. But this responsibility upon the Muslims, that the Muslims, especially the minds, those who care for the Deen of Allah, those who care for Ummah, the growth of the Muslim Ummah, they care for their hereafter. They need to be thinking, how can I help? You know, wallahi, if like Brother Rahmatullah, he put it out there, you want to come here, they can arrange visas. Hey, I'm here. I'm here as an example to show you. I'm probably one of the few Americans here as far as Muslims organizations that are actually on the ground. So, you want to come, you want to help? Ahlan wa sahlan. They will, you know, you are here. Where's Zafrani? He's been here. He's just here. MashaAllah, this guy just extends his stay. Well, what are the 5 days? I'll just stay. You gotta have the kind of mindset, brothers. Yani, subhanallah.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khairan.
Create space for you when you do think that.
Yeah, sorry. Jazakallah khairan. So we have some more questions coming in. Again, I apologize. This is whenever we have a live about Afghanistan, people always ask questions. So inshallah, the next one is from Sister Asra Muhammad. How is the medical situation in Afghanistan? What would you say is the #1 need in Afghanistan?
Yep. So the medical situation is actually, just like the entire country. And I think the medical sector is needed, especially when it's come to, children and women, being able to treat themselves. If a child treat themselves, they will be able to survive. The woman can, deliver a child in a peaceful, in a possible way that the child lives and the woman live actually. So in that scenario, I believe in medical center, anybody can do needed. We have been speaking authorities. There's no medicines in the hospitals. Doctors have not taken their salaries. Nurses have not taken salary. We had a distribution, I believe it's our Islamic OASIS distribution about 15 or 20 days ago. And medical doctor from nearest hospital, they came in and said, can you give us a food pack? I said, no, this is for the orphanage. They said, oh, I'm a doctor. I'm working, pay me any salary. Allah. So I'm working since 6 months and there's no salary. I need this food pack. And I told them, okay, we will figure out something for you. But right now, these all names being given for the orphans and widows, and we want to help them. Actually, people who are doctors, imagine doctors in America, they make huge chunk of money. But here in Afghanistan, they look forward to find some bread so they can eat for the night.
And
so
you're talking about one of the most skilled people sector in society, right? I mean, and they are looking for food. So, this is the medical situation. They need equipment here, big time. We need to build a serious hospital here. I will be visiting hospitals, inshallah. So I'll probably be able to give you more a bit later on because of what I've experienced when it comes to war zones and what happens to medical sector. So a lot of doctors have left here. Also, a lot of nurses left here. There are barely women doctors or nurses here, anyways. And then on the top of that, they have those that were here. Many of them left. So, but as I said, those who were sincere did come back. Yeah. But everything medical is needed here. I think doctors who fear Allah they need to come here and assess situations also by themselves. They need to visit hospitals. They need to give their skills. They need to train the trainers type of thing with their skills. There is much to do, especially doctors. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Come here with the help of Allah, by the will of Allah, save lives. Stop just worrying about the dunya. The dunya is going to leave you. You will have nothing to take with you other than this.
Yeah.
One second.
And I think you've covered this. The other final major need is also medical supply, medicines, that sort of thing. That's in huge demand at the moment.
Because everything is so expensive.
And it's running out. It's not just it's running out. the need is huge, the supply and demand is off balance. So
I think
Jazakallah khairan, brothers.
There's huge amounts of people who don't even go to the hospitals anymore.
Yeah, of course. I would not go right now because there's no
Jazakallah khairan. We have another question coming in. I believe this will be one of our.
By the way, just before that question, can we say something? Come here for a second.
Yes, go ahead.
We call the engineer is here. come here. This is a young brother. How old are you, man?
27.
27 years old. Check this brother out, man. 27-year-old brother, graduated from India IIT. This is who I was talking about. He can go anywhere. Believe me, if he wants, he can go to US, wherever. An actual person, a degree from IIT India, right? And he can work, go to IIT there, get his paperwork, and he can start working there. And you were offered. You were offered many times. And he decided, no, he's going to stay here, and he's going to help the Muslims here. So, example of someone who has an opportunity to leave, but is staying here and saying, no, I'm going to be accountable. And your dad also, a doctor, left and came, right? And he told you, this was amazing to hear, his dad told him, you need to work with Khamar Foundation even if they don't pay you anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That was amazing. That kind of people we are supporting. Khamar Foundation, brothers and sisters, wallahi, your money, your dollar, when it's coming in here, you got to understand what kind of youth, what kind of brothers are here on the ground and how they're working and their sincerity to Allah. His dad is, yeah, you can leave. He could told him, go to a country and send me money. He told him, no, you're going to stay here and you're going to take care of our people.
SubhanAllah.
Go ahead. Would you like to say a few words?
No, it's okay.
Go ahead, Sheikh. Any other questions?
Yeah, Jazakallah khairan, brother. Assalamu alaikum. As well.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum assalam, Rahmatullah. Like, Jazakallah khairan.
And
It's a very
Urdu
rare
so well.
thing.
You're talking Hindi and Urdu.
MashaAllah. This is a very rare sight to see. MashaAllah. May Allah reward you and preserve you. I mean, so we have one more question coming in, inshallah. I think this will be one of the final questions, correct? All right. So I believe this is coming in from Dr. Mossad Abdul Ghani. So he has a question. What is the main source of water in Afghanistan? I believe water tables were discussed before.
Oh, by the way, you need to be here, Sheikh. Sheikh, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Wallah, first of all, it's, really, we need people like you here. I mean, I don't know, whatever we have to do to get you here. 25 years in Cornell, research, biochemistry, chemistry, whatever you want, math, teacher, professor, speaks Arabic, speaks English.
Walter White?
Huh?
Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Like so, Sheikh, the water situation is, as Sheikh Zafrani was mentioned, infrastructure is needed here. There are resources available, they're there, but you need the infrastructure to hone in these things, to bring in and to work these things, to make these things happen. Like we were talking about the vegetable situation, there's a lot of things people grow here, and then it goes to Pakistan, and then it's resold to Afghanistan.
Yes.
It's a joke.
In the winter, yes.
And believe me, I really think a lot of the wars that happen here, it's for the reason economic issues. Country using, for instance, if you think about it, we're talking about hunger issues here. Whatever grows here is going to Pakistan. Literally, it's being sold back to the same people who just sold them. It's crazy going on. So sustainable projects need to be done. Water situation is, it's bad. There's just so much to be done here, Sheikh. As far as if you want to describe, more on.
Yeah, I believe based on some surveys, only 24% of people in Afghanistan have access to clean water.
24%.
And
imagine only access to clean water.
And the rest, and I'm sure not drinking clean water can cause a lot of diseases, problems. But the best is we can dig water wells and they last for many years. That kind of problem. We can extend pipelines because we do have underground water. We can talk until tomorrow.
Yeah, there's that. So anything that you would like to add here, because go ahead, Fadl.
Yeah. So the brother's question. the water sources are, there isn't major water bodies here. There are rivers, there are lakes, but they're not sizable.
Yeah.
There isn't any infrastructure to build reservoirs.
Because
Yes.
Afghanistan is landlocked, although they are blessed with rain, they get snow, they've got rivers, they've got riverines, they've got everything, but it's wasted, it's inefficient. Okay, but they haven't got the infrastructure, for example, where they can build reservoirs, dams. You know, all the snow that comes from the mountain, it's dammed up, cleaned, in a certain way, but it's a reservoir, it's a body of water, and then it supplies the homes. That doesn't really exist here. I've never tasted so much salt in water from your taps in this country. Like even brushing your teeth, I think is going to be a problem. Making wudu with this water is just like quick.
Man, I was just worrying about being frozen. I don't know why. I didn't even taste the salt.
But just putting water in your mouth very, very quickly, you can taste the salt, and that's going to bring a lot of skin-borne diseases, a lot of stomach diseases, mortality, morbidity, all of that sort of thing. So that is a problem. I mean, God knows what the people living in the countryside are going through. They definitely have. Like I haven't seen electricity lines going to their homes. So they definitely do not have water. It's all about a water pump, or about maybe using the snow or the just water is available to them.
No
So there is
water,
no.
I think
infrastructure.
I remember one brother who had come back from Afghanistan during the 80s. And, I remember they used to say they used to make ice cream with the snow.
Yes.
So I don't know if they still do that. I'm sure the kids do that.
Yes.
So I gotta figure that out. They take snow when fresh snow, and then they put honey on it.
Yes.
And it becomes ice cream. So and the kids eat it. So it was dude. I mean, people are creative. You need to come down here, Saint.
Yeah, mashallah. I remember I saw like a video just recently. It was I think it was a Pashtun brother. Because of the new snowfall, he was actually just like making wudu with the snow. But that's neither here nor there. Jazakallahu khairan for all of your time and your work. Most importantly, your work to the Muslims, to supporting basically the ummah in a place where they need it the most. Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve you guys and reward you with the best of the akhirah, inshallah. So we're reaching the 1 hour and a half mark right now. So if there are any final comments that you'd like to say to our viewers, inshallah, you guys can have that time right now.
Sure. Inshallah, we will live sessions, give more updates on the situation and what we are doing in the Sheikh trips. And then, of course, we will give you the final decision that we conclude, that what we work on before he leaves. And once we did that, then inshallah you can spread the news that that's what we're going to do in Afghanistan, share with everybody, including their in-laws. So, we can get it, the work done, inshallah. I think we will have more live sessions, more discussions.
Yeah. I mean, and believe me, bi'iznillahi ta'ala, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this is not the last time. We will be here. I'm planning to be here maybe every 2 or 3 months. I mean, I fell in love with the country. I think the second day, I mean, I just want to see what's happening out there, how we can help. So when you come here, when you meet with the Muslims, there's so much to do, and all of that energy that we have in the West, right, and everything that we do is always just supporting everything else, all our monies, all our resources, all our energy, all our creativity, everything is just like supporting everyone else except the Muslims. So we've got to gather all those resources. That what we're talking about here, what to do. All those minds are out there. Come here. We can't do everything. We really do need experts, man. Wallahi, and you will be welcomed here. I'll tell you the truth. Faddal Sheikh.
Yeah. So, like mentioned, the country is in a state of emergency. So I would, prioritize emergency response. I would prioritize, coming out here if you can add value, but again through the right channels and making sure, you're following the right channels and everything is legal. It is safe and unsafe at the same time. So there isn't any bombardment, there isn't any IEDs going off, but there is a lot of need, and that's caused a lot of criminality and uncertainty on the streets. But yeah, the country needs us for sure. Thank you very much.
All right, brothers, inshallah, I think that's it from us.
Jazakallahu khairan. Jazakallahu khairan, brothers, for again imparting your thoughts, and you will be in all of our du'as for all of the work that you are doing to the people, for the people of Afghanistan. And Jazakallahu khairan as well to our viewers for tuning in. I know a lot of people had questions whenever, subhanAllah, really whenever we have a topic covering Afghanistan. A lot of people want to know about what the realities that are going on over there are. So inshallah, this won't be the last time that we speak with the brothers. We'll have another discussion with them inshallah soon. And at that time, we will be very sure to cover all of your questions inshallah. So with that being said, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant, put barakah in the work that these brothers are doing there, so that they benefit the ummah and that they become a sadaqah jariyah for you inshallah if you donate, and they last for a long time inshallah. So ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Jazakallahu khairan once again for joining and tuning in. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
سبحان منزله بليلة قدره درب الهداية واضح التبيان يتلوه أحمد للدنا وهي التي عطشت لقطر هداية هتاني. سبحان منزله بليلة قدره درب الهداية واضح التبيان يتلوه أحمد للدنا وهي التي عطشت لقطر هداية هتاني. غابت به وزهت بنبت زروعه حسنا وآتت أكلها بتداني. لو كان أنزل فوق طود شامخ لرأيته متصدع الأركان.